Let's see. Am I live? It's not telling me that I'm live. I never know if I'm live anymore. What is going on here? Well, happy new moon in Scorpio, everyone. How did everyone sleep? I hope that you slept well. Um, I actually didn't sleep too well. But I wanted to pop on and give you some updates because I did do a video for YouTube and had an issue with the video not loading. So thank you, Uranus, for that. I really appreciate all of your assistance. But how's everyone doing? So don't mind my hair. We're like on 3 or 4 days of rain now. I don't know. I lost count, but it makes my hair do crazy things. That's what happens when you have curly hair. So I wanted to hop on, give you some updates, and pull some cards. And the last couple times I was on, I got messages. People asked me to post a link for donation. So if you'd like to donate, fine. If not, fine. You know I've been doing this for years, just because I like to do it and it's what I do to give. But if you want to give a donation, it's deeply appreciated. Okay, so we had this new moon in Scorpio. What is this all about? And what are the cards going to tell us? My goodness, I have no idea. Oh, I forgot to turn this down. Turn it down. Okay, so the new moon is at 28 degrees, and it was at, I think it was like 1:40. What was it this morning? I can't remember the exact time. Believe it or not, I actually did fall asleep for a couple of hours. I'm going to say 1:47 a.m. That sounds about right. Right before 2 a.m. this morning, Eastern Standard Time, USA. And a lot going on with this moon because Scorpio is deep and it's asking us to dig deep. So I'm going to say this. This is probably going to be, this energy is probably going to be a little bit more difficult for fire signs and water signs. Okay, it was at 1:47 a.m. Okay, this morning. So, where do we begin? Where do we begin? Because Scorpio is death, rebirth. It's digging deep into the darkness. Um, it's soul work. It's shadow work. It's releasing what no longer serves us. And Saturn is there, conjunct Neptune, and I have a lot to say about that as well. But our foundations are shifting and changing because the things that we thought were real are not, and the things that we weren't sure if they were real or not are. And that's coming to light more and more truths are coming to the surface. So, but this is actually like, in the video I did with Brooke last week, we talked about this, and this is a total reset. A total reset. So we're letting go of everything that doesn't serve us, and that includes the old versions of ourselves. Um, we always use the example of, you know, um, shedding the skin like a snake. We've outgrown our the frequency that we were at, and we're leveling up. So that's kind of part of what's going on. We also need to surrender, and we're surrendering to the unknown, and that is Neptune and Pisces, okay? Because that's about your connection with spirit. And Saturn is trying to bring structure, and the two of them conjunct is like, um, it's a really different kind of energy than what we're used to. What did I just? Here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna start with that because this is something new. I haven't seen anyone else talking about it, but I want to talk about it. And I wrote this up yesterday, and I made myself some notes. So it's kind of like here we are. We're in mid-November, right? And we're trying to be present. We're trying to breathe through, um, and I guess awaken together, because even if you're awake, whether you think you're awake or not, I don't know. Um, but if you're not, you're going to be. And if you are, you're going to wake up even more. So the, the planets, we have no control over the planets. The only thing that we have control over is the way we react or respond to what is going on around us. Okay? Whether it be in the sky, in our home, our friends, our family. So we need to be mindful of that. So here's what I wrote. It's not overly eloquent, but it came from what I saw in the chart and over the last year, and some of this came from my journal, to be honest with you. And here's what I have to say. So here we stand in mid-November, present, breathing, and awakening together on our beloved planet. The planets continue their silent dance above us, reflecting the deeper story unfolding within the collective. Now, Pisces represents the collective, and Neptune rules Pisces. Okay. And within each of our final paths, as the final petals of 2025 begin to close, a new chapter entering into 2026 prepares to unfold. This year has been one of rare cosmic intensity. We have moved through transits that only appear once in a generation, and they have touched every one of us in very different and profound ways. Pluto's entry into Aquarius, that was back in January, began a long, slow initiation into a new era, calling us to calling on us to examine how power is used, who holds it, and how life and death decisions ripple through governments, communities, and the world. We're still getting used to this frequency, and it will shape our future for decades. And we're seeing that play out. And I'm not going to get into detail because every country has its own version, but I'm in the United States. So today I want to talk about a different kind of transformation, um, one that's happening deep within us. We feel it in our bones, especially those of us who are highly sensitive. But everyone is feeling it on different levels, and that's the Saturn Neptune conjunction. So 2025 tested our foundations, and this year has been an initiation and, in a way, a sacred stripping away and a revealing of what is strong and what is built on sand. Think about that. What is built on a solid foundation and what is built on sand? Because we know what is, the sand shifts, okay? It's not a solid foundation. And there are times when shifting and changing is good, okay? But all of this shifting and changing and the underlying energy over the last several months has caused a lot of fear and disruption and discomfort and insecurity in people. So Saturn represents our structures. It's things that are also hard. It's our foundation. It's our bones. It's our teeth. It's our fingernails. Um, think of it as, if you think of your bones hold your body together, right? Okay. And Neptune is soft, and it's watery, and it dissolves, and it washes away anything that's not rooted in truth and alignment or integrity and authenticity. Okay. So this is a time where this is a major, major shift of shifting into stepping into your full power, truth, and authenticity. And as as we continue to move forward into 2026, um, where do you need to atone? And do you need to atone for anything? And if you do, what is it? And how do you atone? And what is atonement? Okay? So you can Google atonement. It's basically um, where you need to kind of make peace or make amends with something or someone, or with acceptance of whatever is happening, and understanding once again that we can't control it, um, but it's how do we react, or how do we respond to the energy. So when we put Saturn and Neptune together, the big question is, what is truly stable, and what is asking to be rebuilt on a solid foundation, or in a sense reborn, very Scorpio, rebirthed, released, very, very attached to this Scorpio new moon. So when you think about your personal structure, okay, Saturn, um, bones, teeth, joints, it also has to do with your heart. It's your home and your sense of safety, your work, your income, and your purpose, your emotions, um, in as far as relationship, I guess I should say your relationships, okay, and your how you navigate those relationships. Um, how do they fit into your life or not fit into your life? What needs to be released and what doesn't, and what have you learned through the challenges and experiences that Saturn has taken us through over this last 11 um, months. So it's also your emotional resilience, and that has really been tested in our country. I think it's been tested throughout the world. I think each country is going through their own thing. And then we have to think about the collective energy as well as our individual energy. Um, your spiritual practices. Neptune in Pisces being in its home sign, we're talking about Great Spirit. What is your spiritual practice? What is your connection with God, or your version of God? And is that solid? Is your relationship there solid, or is it built on sand? And also your connection to yourself. So many of us have experienced challenges in these areas, not because life is falling apart, but because we are being asked to rebuild our lives in a newer, um, we're being asked to rebuild our lives with the wisdom that we've accumulated through Saturn over this last year and the Saturn transits. And also, Jupiter has made everything pretty big as well. We've had a couple of Jupiter Pluto aspects. And, if Pluto um, deconstructs, which it did in Capricorn, then that left a lot of people feeling uneasy, as far as our finances and our personal security and our our governments and all those things. But we've witnessed a lot of our systems collapsing. Governments have been shaken to the core, and so have the people of those countries. Um, Borders have been challenged. Economic instability, environmental crisis, and the vulnerable have been exposed, and there will be more things being exposed, and some of them are playing out right now. And um, support systems have been somewhat stressed or strained. Um, so you may feel this playing out in your life as some form of chaos, but in a sense, it's restructuring, rebuilding. It's If you look at it as loss, you're going to feel loss. If you look at it as restructuring in a new and different way, Pluto and Aquarius, and thinking outside of the box, it's more like revelations. Okay, so what are the aha moments? Because Saturn asks us to take responsibility. Saturn wants us to be sovereign. And Neptune asks us to surrender to the illusions. So we need to strengthen what really matters, release what doesn't, and come back home to ourselves, to what is real within ourselves. Okay? And I'm trying to remember who said it, and I can't remember who said it, where some astrologers are starting to look at where we thought that Saturn was the reality and Neptune was the illusion, that it is actually starting to, some astrologers are starting to look at it as no, Saturn was the illusion and Neptune was the reality. And I've always said in almost every one of my videos to pay attention to your dreams, because there's more truth and reality in your dreams than there is in your waking time. So, you need to come home to what is real to you. What feels like home to you? Where is home in here? You see my little dog ears sticking up here. I have company. I always have company. I don't get to do anything alone. I can't even pee alone. So, distracted very easily today. So where are we now? Saturn and Neptune have retrograded back into Pisces. So this is the sign of water, intuition, emotions, healing, endings, trusting in the, it's the unseen, and trusting in the unseen. It's your connection to spirit. It's the collective. It's connection. So this makes things feel a little bit softer, more fluid. You may feel more sensitive, and you might not know where you're going or what you're doing or why, because it's less defined. Like there's no real one answer to fix everything. So now, being mindful that Mercury's still in retrograde just for a few more days, we have all of that where things are shifting and changing. But in Pisces, with Saturn, Neptune, and Pisces, Saturn is boundaries, and Pisces is water and illusion. Then the lines become blurred. Okay? And we have Chiron active with this moon as well. So there could be a lot of healing taking place. So a lot of pain from the past could be rising to the surface. But outdated structures will dissolve. So if you're trying to hold on to something from the past, I would say try to let go of it, because it's making things more difficult for you on a personal level. So I looked ahead a little bit, and we have this beautiful, important aspect coming up in 2026. In February and March of 2026, Saturn and Neptune will make their final exact conjunction and move into Aries, 0 degrees of Aries together. So that's like a reset, another reset button. 0 degrees of Aries is the absolute reset point. So Aries is the sign of fire, courage, new beginnings. It's ruled by Mars. So it could be an ignition point for us to move forward. It initiates movement, and it also helps spark awakening. And we also have that Uranus back in Taurus, but it will be going back into Gemini later in 2026. So I think it's, I can't remember the exact date. I knew Saturn is February. I just can't remember. So when you go back in history and you look at this kind of conjunction, it coincides with major global restructuring, borders changing, political systems dissolving, and collective identity shifts and rebirth at a national and global level. So we need to think about those things because this last conjunction was in 1989, and I remember that. Um, I was in my early 20s, and that's when the Berlin Wall fell and the old Soviet um, Union dissolved. So this time the spotlight turns towards global realignment and government transitions. And Scorpio is all about transformation. And transformation requires change and transition and discomfort. So this is going to happen especially around countries whose borders have shifted repeatedly throughout history. But for your personal life, this marks something even more sacred. It's a rebirth of your foundation. Think of your structure and your foundation. A renewal of your strength, which God knows we need. We are so at the end of our ropes, some of us. And reclaiming of your inner sovereignty, taking back your power. Think of it as um, being your own boss, your own authority. Okay. So release structures that feel heavy, outdated, or unstable in any way. Strengthen what really supports your soul. If you don't have a spiritual practice, it's a good time to start one. And you want to rebuild the parts of your life that you want to grow. So if you say, for example, want to read cards and you want to master it, this takes repetition, practice. So how do you rebuild that part? You initiate a daily routine that incorporates that into it. You want to take care of your body, especially your bones, your heart, and your overall vitality. Make sure you are taking in proper nutrition. And I know food is very, very expensive right now, especially in our country. And we're in the winter months. So, again, if you go on YouTube and watch, I think I actually have it on this page, the interview that I did with Brooke. We talk about a lot of these things. Upping your vitamin D because we're not getting as much sun, your vitamin C, and your B vitamins. We want to help support the immune system. Um, Make sure you're drinking enough water, that you're staying hydrated, because we all have our heaters on now, and that dehydrates the body. Okay, especially our skin. It's our largest organ in our body. Um, you want to make sure that you create emotional and um, physical ways to ground energetically. Okay, whether it's a grounding mat, or you can, if you're down under, and you can go outside and put your feet on the earth, and everything that you do with integrity. Okay, um, that's really important. That we we stand in our truth and our authenticity in everything that we do. And that includes finances, being really mindful around finances and relationships. Okay? Personal relationships and business relationships, and relationships within your own home. And be mindful. You remember that your home is your sacred space. Be mindful of what you let into your sacred space, and who. Who are you letting into your sacred space? And understand that it's normal to. We may not have even had an argument with anyone. We just may have outgrown them, or they may have outgrown us. So don't take it personal. I would have to add to this, don't take anything personal. So the good news is that by April of 2026, most of this phase of deconstruction and erosion and discombobulation should be pretty much over, because that's when Saturn moves forward. Um, Neptune releases its grip, and the conjunction starts to dissolve. So this energy will start to dissolve, and in this disillusion of this conjunction, um, we're kind of birthing a new era. So something new is coming in, and this is when we will feel maybe um, safe and secure. Stability returns. Um, More clarity becomes available. We may be able to finish rebuilding something new, or even just start rebuilding something new. Your energy will pick up. We've all been so tired. The energy just it's felt so heavy, like, because Saturn rules Capricorn, okay? And it's all about structure and foundation and all of the things that have been challenged. Um, so we're exhausted. So this is also where new beginnings start to emerge, and your energy rises, and your purpose, your clarity, and your purpose sharpen. You'll be able to pinpoint exactly what it is. So all this is guiding you, and I know it sucks that we have to go through this, um, but there is a purpose to it, and what it's doing is it's guiding us. I think guiding is the best word, um, towards a more aligned, empowered, sovereign, and trusting version of yourself, because it's very important that you trust in yourself. If you don't trust in yourself, others won't trust in you. And if you don't trust in yourself, you can't trust in others. Okay, so even though it may feel like things are dissolving around you, you're actually spiraling up. So that's what I wanted to share with you. Um, we have to trust the cycles of life, and we need to honor what is ending, and we need to nurture what's being born, and grow our foundation stronger. Keep the heart open to receive. Let everything come from a heart-centered space, and allow your path to grow clearer. This is not something that can be forced. It will come over time. Sometimes we get to take that great big leap of faith, and sometimes we have to trust in the baby steps. Okay? So Pisces is water, so remember the flow, and remember that water can carry you. Water is there's so much illusion around water, because water is soft enough to bathe a baby, and it's strong enough to carve the Grand Canyon. Just think about that. Really think about that. How it's strong enough to carve the Grand Canyon, and soft enough to bathe a baby. And when we think about Pisces, and we think about our emotions, energy and motion, That's water, that's flow. And our bodies are 90 something percent water. So we really need to be mindful of that. So when Aries arrives, when these two planets meet at 0 degrees of Aries in February, um, it's a reset button. So we're hoping to all emerge, you know, renewed and with the courage of Aries. And think about your, are you aligned with your soul? Do you feel right within your body? Because if you're not, then this is a good time to work on it and initiate that practice. So just remember as the year closes out, and we still have, what is the date? The 20th. We still have 50, 51 days, 52 days left in the year. 51 days left in the year. So that time, if we look at how fast this whole year has gone, that time will go quickly. So remember, as we end this year and go into the new year, that this is an opportunity to really step into who you are and allow yourself to thrive and to bloom there. And so that's what I have to say about that Saturn Neptune conjunction. Um, and I don't know if anyone else has spoken about it or not, but I didn't see anything. And it just hit me when I was journaling because I keep separate journals for separate things. And then sometimes something pops into my head and I'll write it in one journal or another. So I had to actually go through a couple of journals. And I don't know why I felt called to do that last night, but I did. So this new moon was at 1:47 a.m. this morning, and it was at 28 degrees of Scorpio. And the numerology on that is obviously a 1. So, new beginnings. But we only get the new beginnings by letting go of the things from the past. So we need to make sure we release the old versions of the self, surrender to the unknown, and allow ourselves to become aligned with our what our soul's expression is. So it's a spiritual reset. Honor who you are, acknowledge who you are today. Who are you today? And welcome in whoever you want to bloom into. Who are you becoming? So this moon, we're actually in the first 24 hours of the energy is where the moon's energy is the strongest. So we are in that energy as I speak to you. And this new moon also occurred in the third decan of Cancer. So for those of you who know astrology, you will know what I am talking about. But each sign is broken up into 3 what we call decans. So there's an underlying energy of Cancer to this Scorpio moon. So we have a Scorpio moon that has all the Pluto um, characteristics with the underlying energy of Cancer. So it's kind of, and Cancer is ruled by the moon. So it's kind of like, it's going deep into our very deep emotions. That's what I want to say. Maybe coming to the surface. Things that are coming up will be, maybe you may be very sensitized at this time, but also very intuitive and psychic sensitivity. So um, think of it as still waters run deep, okay? Because I like Scorpio energy because it's where a lot of healing and a lot of aha moments um, happen, okay, when we dig deep, when we do the shadow work. So there's a strong drive for emotional truth. And what is Scorpio? It's the detective of the zodiac. So think about deep inner work, shadow work, um, maybe inner child work, heightened awareness of what truly motivates you. So a lot can be coming to the surface, and a lot of feelings. This is going to affect us on every level, emotionally, physically, spiritually, um, and psychologically. And on top of that, we have a Mercury Kazemi with Mercury in retrograde, and that's at it's just under 29 degrees. So that's basically the anaretic degree of Scorpio, and that's forming a Mercury Cazimi. So that Mercury is sitting in the heart of the sun, and that amplifies Mercury's gifts, which is a positive thing for us. And so over today and tomorrow, next few days, actually, we usually go from moon to moon, but the energy is the strongest the first 24 to 48 hours. So think mental clarity, some spiritual downloads, powerful, powerful inner realizations. It's like those aha moments where all of a sudden there's complete and utter clarity. Um, New ideas and new perspectives. That's what I want to say. New ideas and new perspectives. So, also things from the past could come to the surface. Um, your your inner your inner communication is stronger than your outer communication. And I'm struggling a little bit with words today because Scorpio is calling us inside. It's calling us to communicate with ourselves on a deep level. So pay attention to your dreams, any signs, symbols, and synchronicities that may come up, and intuitive hits. Because if it comes like that, I would say it's probably 99.9999% accurate, especially today. Um, Memories too. Good morning, Rebecca. Um, Old memories may be coming back to the surface. Um, some of them could be painful, but with the Chiron being active as well with this moon, a lot of healing. So let the healing happen. This is about revisiting the old stories and healing them and letting them go. Finishing those unfinished conversations, and um, repeated patterns. They could be behavioral patterns. Whatever the patterns are, they could be numbers, they could be signs. Pay attention to those because those will reveal something important to you. Maybe not in this moment, but um, coming soon. Coming to a theater nearby soon. Okay. So, good morning, Ange. Um, so we also have Uranus in opposition at also at the anaretic degree of Taurus. So this is the final, most intense degree. This is letting go. This is letting go, and you have no control of it. Either let go or be dragged by the hair, screaming and kicking and whatever. But this is a really powerful opposition to the Sun, the Moon, and Mercury. And remember, Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. Wait a minute, I need to let the dog out. Go ahead. So, Uranus is the great awakener. It's where we have our aha moments. It's the planet of shock and surprise. So, don't be surprised if something comes to light today. Now, some things came to light last night. I didn't watch TV, but I have my little my friends around the world who let me know what's going on in my country because I prefer to not know myself. Um, but what I was told, I haven't checked it, so I'm not really sure, but it wouldn't surprise me. I keep saying I don't think anything else will surprise me, but I'm sure something will. I've kind of like, there's a difference between giving up and giving in. I've given in. I've handed it over to God, to spirit, to whatever, because I can't control it. I cannot pluck those planets and put them in an aspect that will serve everyone to their highest good. I can't do it. We all have these moments in our charts, depending on our charts, how we navigate things. But this is like a collective reading, so this will affect everyone. So, sudden shock and change and surprise, those aha moments, those awakenings, those people that you put your trust into that you're now finding out you couldn't trust. And for those of you who saw it all along, please don't go, I told you so to everyone else, because everyone's journey is different, and I just think that's cruel. I just think it's cruel because there was a time when you were in the same spot. And we have all, I don't know one person who hasn't trusted someone in their life that they probably shouldn't have. And lesson learned, right? Lesson learned. So, what is it? F me once, shame on me. F me twice. Or no, F me once, shame on you. F me twice, shame on me. I don't know. I don't even remember. I don't care. I don't care. I've just literally just let it all go. So if you're feeling stuck or numb or resistant to change, my best advice to you would be let go. Let go, because Uranus is going to grab you by the ankles, turn you upside down, and shake the shit out of you, whether you want it to or not. And it's going to be uncomfortable anyway, but you get to pick your level of discomfort, is what I want to say, to a point, depending on your chart. So um, think of Mercury, communication, okay? Uranus, higher communication. Think out of this world kind of communication. It's the higher octave of Mercury. So if you think of Mercury's everyday communication, think of Uranus as God. It's like, I don't want to say God, but coming from the higher realms. It's like Zeus. He's up there with his lightning bolts. Boom! Oh, you did that. Boom! You don't want to change that. Boom! That's just think of it like that. Just think of it like that. Um, so it's going to be a form, some kind of form of communication, and it might be a wonderful, beautiful shock and surprise. It might be exactly what you want to hear, and it might be not what you wanted to hear, but what you needed to hear to wake you up, shake you up to wake you up. So remember that. Shake you up to wake you up. Um, and remember, like I said, with Uranus moving back into Taurus, finances. Be mindful of your finances, okay? Um, that's been slow over the years, but I've been talking about that for 4 or 5 years. You know, I told you before. As soon as I put a debit card in her hand, that was the beginning of the change, financial changeover. So that's continuing to play out in the background as well. But this underlying energy of being in the this moon having the underlying energy of being in the deacon of Cancer is going to make us highly sensitive, highly emotional, okay? And it may even make you want to think of all the Cancer themes. It's the moon, it's mother energy, it's watery. You may just be brought to tears and not know why. Let it happen. Let it happen, because on some subconscious level, it's some kind of a release that needs to happen in order for you to move forward. So think massive inner and outer shifts, sudden clarity and aha breakthrough moments, and a deep restructuring of your values and priorities. Okay. Um, Rebecca, I see that you're on. Rebecca, I don't know why it just popped into my head. Be extra mindful of your health, sweetheart. I don't remember your sign, but I don't know what house it's fallen into, but it just one of those hits. Just be extra mindful of your health. I want to say, I know you take really good care of yourself. So, did you take all of your vitamins today, or your vitamins, or the product that you use? I can't remember what it's called. Make sure you don't skip any days. And stick with it. Okay. So we also have a gram water trine. So more water, more motion, more flow. But there's also alchemy in here. Also alchemy in here. Ah, you pushed it a little and got a chest infection today. Okay. Um, you know what to do. You know what to do. When I'm off here, if you need anything, I'll private message you when I'm off here. Cause you know what's funny, Rebecca, is I kept going like this with my chest when I was talking about my heart, coming from a heart-centered space, but I also felt like a little bit of tightness. But I as well have been suffering with. We've had rain for another 3 or 4 days. That's it, Airbon. If anyone's interested in Airbon, contact Rebecca. It's actually an excellent product that she has. Is that special still running for the Airbon, Rebecca? Aren't you having a holiday special? She's in the UK, so they don't have Thanksgiving, but I think they were having some kind of a holiday special. So just pop your link in there, Rebecca, to your Airbon. Okay, a great product. Also, if you are in Louisville, um, check out the what is it called? Um, I was just there the other night. Super Tonic Bar. I think that's what it's called. Super Tonic Herbs. It's Super Tonic Elixir Bar, and you can find them in Louisville. So you can just, if you're in the Louisville area, just Google it and you can get the address. Okay. All right. So we're in this Grand Water Trine. Makes sense, Rebecca, with you with your chest, with water. I just cannot remember your chart, and I know I did it. All right. So we have the Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Venus in Scorpio. Saturn, Neptune in Pisces, and the North Node in Pisces. So that is our Grand Water Trine. At the same time, we have a sextile. Neptune is at, again, the anaretic degree. We have all of these planets at the anaretic degree. We are letting go of many things, several things, I want to say. So the Neptune at the 29th degree of Pisces, that also forms a sextile, which is a positive aspect, but it's you have to really know it's there. Okay, you have to pay attention today, which may be hard to do. It may be a little hard to focus with all the watery emotion going on. And we also have this beautiful trine to Mercury and the new moon. So that's always a positive aspect. But these, if you notice, 29 degrees of Pisces, 29, you know, 29 degrees of Taurus, 29 degrees of Scorpio, 28 and a half. Well, it's almost 29 degrees. Might as well say 29 degrees of Scorpio. So it's like there's all there's all these endings, and water is yin, so it's feminine. So remember, it's feminine is receptive, but it's also inward. Okay, it's about going within. So this is a real, like, the Grand Water Trine is all about emotional flow. Okay, because it's all water, and water is emotion. Psychic sensitivity, and think about what you can do to renew your spirit. How can you feed your spirit? What are you feeding your spirit? And is it in alignment with your soul? Okay, so it's a good it's a good day for intuitive and spiritual work, or it's a good time over these next um, couple of weeks until we get to our next moon. um, it's a good time to seek therapy if you're having issues, or counseling, or journaling to do your shadow work and your inner child healing. Um, and it's a deep emotional release. Okay, and this moon isn't, I'm going to say this moon is asking you to feel, but basically it's telling you you will be feeling, um, and to let go and be open to and let the transformation occur, and let your intuition guide you, because when you have the moon in Scorpio with the underlying energy of the moon, it's like a double moon. I mean, the moon is very um, Cancer is very intuitive as well. It's very emotional. Think of mother energy or grandmother energy in Native American culture. So I want to say like we're being held while we're being shaken, if that makes sense. Um, on one hand, Uranus is shaking us up, and on the other hand, um, it's like your mom holding you, saying, it's okay, baby, you could cry. Um, Getting emotional just talking about it. You know, sometimes being a water sign is really, really like tough. But there's an invitation to surrender, and that's what Neptune and Pisces is all about. It's surrendering. It's we need to surrender, and we need to trust. We need to have this unbelievable faith and trust. And then we have Venus in Scorpio trining the North Node in Pisces. So Venus is about what we love and value. And I actually love that Venus is here because it's really help, helping to soften some of the rough, hard edges of some of the things that are happening with this moon. So um, Venus in Scorpio trining in North Node in Pisces, so that your values, your relationships, and your self worth are evolving through deep emotional honesty. You need to be honest with yourself. This is where your authenticity comes in again. This is where you get to bloom into who you're supposed to be. Um, and it's a call to up your self care. Think about the self, everything with the self, okay? Because when that Saturn and Neptune reach that 0 degrees of Aries, that's what Aries is about, the self. Okay, and that will be happening in February. But we're already starting to feel the energy coming in. So you want to learn to embody, if you haven't already, self care, self trust, and self love. Stand in your power. Um, and trust your intuition. I'm going to say there's like a psychic knowing coming to the surface too. Like people are coming online psychically that they weren't sure or they didn't trust in their abilities. Trust in your ability. Okay. Okay. So Rebecca's, they're having a Black Friday sale coming up. Enormous in the US and Canada too. Okay. Um, okay. So Rebecca, when that sale starts, can you do me a favor and tag me so that I can share it with everyone here? Roy, you're creating calendars that are listing the 9 star Kai Magic Square. Oh, oh, Roy, I'm very interested in that. Yeah, I love the moon, and I think the moon is as important as the sun, and sometimes even more important, because the moon changes signs every 2.5 days. So nothing really moves much faster than that. Okay, so that is Venus. This is a long video. Okay. So we also have Scorpio's medicine. Here we go. Scorpio turns shadow into light, fear into wisdom, and endings into beginnings. Allow the transformation. All these planets on the anaretic degree are asking us to release, okay? And hopefully we're doing it voluntarily. Hopefully it's not very, very uncomfortable, but for some people it may be. Um, Especially for the fixed signs. I'm going to say to the fixed signs, I have so many beautiful fixed sign friends. Um, let go and let God, or spirit, or whatever you believe in, the universe, because again, we can't stop it. So, this is what I love about Scorpio, because it's, you go into the darkness. It's like you go into a dark room and maybe you're crying. You're going through something, and you just want to lay in the dark and just have your moment. And then all of a sudden, somebody turns on the light. And that's your aha moment, where you see where all the pain, maybe sometimes years and years of pain and suffering that you've gone through, you all of a sudden realize what was causing it. And now you get excited. And you always come out of Scorpio with some kind of wisdom or some kind of knowledge that you want to share with the world. And that's why I love how Scorpio transitions into Sagittarius, which will happen on Friday. The sun will move into Sagittarius, and that's all about wisdom. So you're releasing or shedding the old skin, outdated um, roles, um, beliefs, and identities. This is where you're going to be stepping into your new identity. I said a couple of weeks ago when I did the full moon, after the Scorpio moon, we'll never be the same again, and we won't. We already aren't, and we may or may not realize it, but it's been in play, and it's in play, and it's gonna, it may feel really raw. It may really hurt. We may feel very, very vulnerable and exposed. Um, but remember that vulnerability is sacred, and that there's strength in vulnerability. And that was a video that Rebecca and I did last week as well. Strength in vulnerability, and how that plays out in our lives. Um, so you're not today who you were yesterday. You may not be feeling it yet. You may not be seeing it yet. But you've outgrown old versions of yourself. And there's some things that you'll be leaving behind. Okay? So this moon invites you to release attachments to what no longer resonates. Listen to your soul in the silence. What is it? What is it whispering to you? Or what is it screaming? For some people it'll be a whisper. For some people it'll be like, come on, wake up. um, Allow the emotions to happen without judgment. Don't judge yourself, and try not to judge others, because right now, some people are really, really going through it. Everyone's highly sensitive. Okay. Trust in the divine plan, whatever that plan is. Trust in the divine plan, the changes that are occurring. And remember that rebirth always follows letting go. Okay? And recalibration. So we're being rebirthed, we're letting go, we're being rebirthed, and we're being recalibrated. So you may continue to feel tired, um, overly sensitive, or emotional. I don't know if you can be overly sensitive. I don't know, because I'm a water sign, so I'm always highly sensitive. I want to say hypersensitive sometimes. So I guess, yes, you can be overly sensitive. Um, and go deep within. A lot of introspection, um, or introspective type of work. Yeah, this energy is really, really sacred. I could feel it really deep. It's like very transformative. It's on a soul level. So, um, if you didn't set your intentions, please set your intentions. Um, there is a video on YouTube under the Bell's Mountain. I'm sorry, the Blooming Lotus Life by Bell's Mountain, where you can it walks you through if you don't know how to pull up your birth chart and look at your birth chart and find out what house your Scorpio is in, because that's the area of your life that will be most effective. That's where the energy is the most concentrated. Now, for me, it's a 10th house. So, 10th house is career. And I just made a major, three major changes in my career with a new website, a second business, and an opportunity where I will um, be doing readings in live at a local venue here in Louisville. So, shock and surprise, you're honest. But at the same time, I just got hit with my tax bill. But at the same time, um, gave someone a referral to a window company because they wanted to enclose their balcony like I did. Didn't know that they had some kind of a referral program, and got a unexpected check in the mail for $200 for referring my neighbor to them for, enclosing for these doors. So, money in, money out, money in, money out, money in, money out. That Uranus and Taurus, it likes to mess with you. And the holiday season's coming, people. All right, so let's see. Um, so wherever your Scorpio is, whatever house that is, it's going to be where the energy is the most concentrated. Emotional and spiritual intensity heightened. New beginnings are brewing in that area. Okay, so use this moon to call in personal renewal, emotional growth, and deeper intimacy with yourself and others on an emotional, spiritual, mental, and physical level. Scorpio demands truth. Remember, the detective, it will dig to China to get the truth. And it's more about being aligned inside, inner alignment, okay, than outer action. Scorpio is all internal. Just think internal, okay? Um, Even though it's represented by the sign of the scorpion, it's got that little stinger on the tail. It's because when it's doing its deep shadow work and you bother it, it's like plunk, and it stings you. It's like, back off, Jack. I'm busy here. I'm doing some real work. I'm under construction. Think of it that way. You're under construction from the inside out. All right. So ask yourself what no longer aligns. What is your heart outgrown? What belief stories or agreements is my soul done carrying? Saturn, we need to put down the backpack. We are not responsible for everyone and everything. That's Saturn and Pisces. And what energy am I ready to release? And what what I want what energy am I releasing? And what energy am I calling in? Manifest, people. You want to manifest fast, you want to dream, and you want to dream big, 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 because in a few more days, or no, tomorrow. What's today? Yeah, tomorrow. We will be in Sagittarius energy. Okay, so I think it's like around 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. But officially, the sun will move into Sagittarius. So who rules Sagittarius? Jupiter. What's Jupiter? The planet of luck. Expansion or overindulgence. So be mindful of what you use and how you use it and where you use it. So we don't want to overindulge with spending, but we want to be very, very, you know what you want to overindulge in? And I don't think you can overindulge in this. Wisdom. Study. rooting yourself in authenticity. Um, that word I can't use enough. The truth I can't use enough, because those words are very, very important, because I really truly believe that the way we're up leveling, and I think it was Pam Gregory talks about this. Can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was. But pretty soon, and now water signs pretty much already have this. Um, and I'm going to say a lot. No, I'm not going to limit it to water signs. I'm going to say people who are really pretty much stepping into their power. You're already sensing the truth. You already know the truth. It's already in you, and it's always been there, and it's like it's being highlighted even more. Okay, so trust in yourself, trust in your intuition right now. Good morning, Sarah. Um, but when we when we move into Sagittarius tomorrow, that's all about wisdom, and it's also about the law. So think of the and also travel. So we want to think about astro travel, the laws of the land, the laws of the universe, what's going on with the laws in your country, um, sovereignty, wisdom. Make sure you arm yourself with wisdom and knowledge for what is about to come, especially if you're in the United States and especially if you're a woman. You want to arm yourself with that wisdom and knowledge, okay? Um, so I think that's pretty much all I have to really say, which is kind of a lot because I've gone over an hour. Um, I can, well, I have a couple more things. I might as well just finish out the month for you. So the sun is going to enter Sagittarius. I'm sorry, it's 8:35 p.m. Tomorrow. So tomorrow evening. So happy birthday, Sagittarius. And Rebecca, for you in the UK, 8:35. So that's 1:35 a.m. on technically the 22nd for you. Or no, you're 5 hours ahead of us, right? Yeah. Okay. I don't know why I always mess that up. So anyway, on the 21st at 8:35. So happy birthday to all the Saggies. I have a lot of beautiful Saggy friends. So this energy is going to become lighter, okay? But it doesn't mean that we're still not doing the inner work. We just may be more jovial about it, okay? But, and when we think of that, we think of lighter, um, adventurous. Jupiter is very adventurous. Sagittarius is very adventurous. We actually call it like the Santa Claus of the zodiac. Very optimistic, and even even though Mercury is still retrograde, which it's almost done. You know, it's been a really short Mercury retrograde, and it hasn't actually been a really bad one. Um, if you're staying away from the television, um, but I want to say aim high, shoot that arrow, and aim for the largest target, the biggest star, the out of this universe dream that you have. Um, you know, Mars is going to square the nodes of the moon. So Mars is the planet of action, right? Forward movement, ignition, it's drive. Um, it can be somewhat disruptive or somewhat a little bit aggressive or eruptive. So it clashes with the nodes of fate. So we may see um, where things that are wrong are coming to the surface, and they may be either addressed or corrected in a public manner because of Mercury. Um, Karmic turning points. We're talking about the nodes of fate, okay? So karma and um, a, the strong calling or feeling to act like we have to do something. We need to do something. Um, but be very conscious about your choices, because Mars rules Aries, and Aries is the Fool in the Tarot. So it has a tendency to leap without knowing where it's going to land. So we want to be proactive, not reactive. So be very conscious in your choices. Okay, and that's going to be on the 24th. Um, on the 27th, Saturn will finally station direct at 25 degrees Pisces. So you want to check where that lands in your chart. And as that turns direct, you want to focus on what's real, and what's within your grasp, and what do you already have that you can work with. Okay, keep your feet on the ground while allowing yourself to dream. Okay, so if you're a water sign like a Pisces like me, you might have to tie an anchor to your ass to keep you on your ground, because we've been dreaming for so long. Um, but there's a there's that manifestation. There's that um, ability to make it come to fruition in the coming months. So, everybody thinks, oh well, it's uh, you know, I've been asking and asking, but it hasn't happened. Okay, you have to give the energy time to play out. Because on top of all of this, we still have the energy from those supermoons. Okay? And those eclipse energies play out for up to a year. So we have layers and layers and layers of energy. It's like making the bed. Okay? You have the mattress, you have the mattress cover, you have the bottom sheet, you have the top sheet, you have your blanket, you may have your comforter or your whatever your bed cover is, your bedspread. All right? And then you put the pillows on, and for me, I have like six pillows on my bed plus my decorative things. So think about the layers, and you're layering all those things on top of each other. It's not just one thing. Think of the pizza with every topping. Okay, you have the dough, the sauce, the gravy, the cheese, the pepperoni, the pepper, the sausage, the onion, the pineapple, the bacon, whatever you like. Just think of throwing everything you could possibly throw on top of a pizza. Um, and that's what we're dealing with, people. So um, just try to stay anchored in what's true and tangible, the things you can taste and touch and smell. Okay, and you'll be able to navigate. We're all going to be able to navigate the rest of this year. We're going to get through it. We've made it this far. I know. I think it was around. I don't remember when it was. I thought I was gonna. I just threw my hands. I was like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't even want to do astrology anymore. I was really frustrated. But that lasted about 3 days. It never lasts long. We all have those moments, and we have to allow ourselves to have those moments. We have to allow ourselves to cry for ourselves. We need to allow ourselves to grieve the old versions of ourselves. Grief is a natural human feeling and behavior. So many of us will be crying and not even know why we're crying. And it's possible that you're just grieving the old version of yourself. But because you're not fully seeing the new version of yourself, you don't really quite have clarity on it yet. But it's coming. So then on November 29th, finally, an 11 day, Mercury will station direct at 20 degrees 42 minutes of Scorpio, and that will be at 12:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that will be in the afternoon, right after lunchtime. So it'll be 7:38 p.m. in the UK. So after all this time of revisiting, reviewing, rethinking, renewing, re, whatever it is you've been going over, clarity will finally begin to return. And, you know, remember there's 2 weeks post shadow retrograde. So it may take a little bit to feel the full effect of the clarity but the fog will start to lift, and it's a great time to kind of come back to you and check your emotions again and go back over and with clarity now and see what needs to be repaired in your life and what can be repaired, and um, have more calmer and, I want to say, constructive conversations. Okay, and I'm not talking about constructive criticism. Let's try to release the criticism and the judgment. Although there are some positive aspects to constructive criticism. It's just that people are so sensitive that now is not the time for it. So let's wait for Mercury to get out of retrograde. So if you're if you have strong fixed signs or mutable signs, so if you're a Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius, or a Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Pisces, you've probably been feeling this for weeks. And if you're not an astrologer, you've been feeling it, but you probably just weren't able to put words to it because, or understand it, um, or understand where it was coming from. Not because you know you're stupid or anything, but just because you're not an astrologer and you wouldn't have known the energy coming in, but you were probably feeling it and not understanding where those feelings were coming from. So, as we move out of November, like I said, the those sharp emotional edges start to soften. So, and then on the 30th, Venus enters Sagittarius, and Venus will be in Sagittarius through December 24th through Christmas Eve. So it's going to bring a lot of spontaneous action and adventure, um, probably in love and friendships. I wouldn't be surprised if there'd be some new relationships or some new people come into your life, because remember, you have a new identity now. And Sagittarius is like, they like to play, right? So more playful, say open-heartedness, um, bringing more pleasure into your life, and a desire for um, spiritually aligned connection. So people that you resonate with, okay, that you feel like you're on the same frequency with, um, because you want these connections to be more meaningful. Um, because you're a new version of you. So that is the astrology. So I don't know why I couldn't get the video to upload to YouTube, so I thought, well, let me just come over on Facebook and share it. It's a day late, but it's not $1 short. I can use the whole deal, people. And I can. I did this by rising because most of my people are rising. Now, if you know your rising sign, let me do a separate video for that. But Sarah, you're on here, and I know you know your rising sign. So Sarah, you're a Sag rising, so it's in your 12th house. So it's all about spirituality. Re, pay attention to your subconscious. Um, check in with your. There's like some kind of a new connection with spirit, is what I want to say. Retreat and endings. So if you feel like you need to go within, it's a perfect time for inner work, meditation, and really, really pay attention to your dreams, because your intuition is lit up. So pay attention. Really pay attention to your dreams, Sarah. All right? Does anyone else know they're rising? Probably not. Okay. Roy, I would love to connect with you and talk about those calendars. That is so cool. I would really, really like to connect with you. So, all right. Sarah, you need to do the inner work so that you can step into your full power come January. Okay? Um, and it's not that anything's wrong. It's kind of like you're processing the endings. That's what it's all about. You're processing the endings that are coming with this Scorpio moon. So, also, perfect for inner work. This could also be you helping other people in your business with their inner work. It could be that. Rebecca, what's your sun sign, sweetie? If you don't know your rising, what's your sun sign? I just can't remember. Are you a Virgo, Rebecca? I don't know why. Wait a second. I think I actually might have you. I know I did your chart at one time or another. Hold on a minute, Rebecca. Let me see if I can find you. Rebecca. Here we go. I got you, Rebecca. Wait a minute. You're a Scorpio rising, Rebecca. You're a Scorpio rising.